Evening all, welcome to the 618th special, or is it 17th? I can't remember if this included or not. But anyway, we're going to look back at a year, well, almost a year of Kicking Dust. And this is episode 99 of 100 episodes of Kicking Dust. So we actually managed almost 242 episodes of Dust this year alone with just the three series of videos we did. So you can see why we're combining it into one, because that's quite a lot of effort. What we're going to do today is we're going to look retrospectively at where we were, because interestingly enough, this season started at the start of the year when a lot of changes happened and things like tanks became quite good. So you can see in the top left we have actually Kicking Dust 3.01 running, and that was obviously a tank one. And it's funny because the first three that I'm going to show you here, chosen randomly from the 99 episodes we've done, 98 rather, there's quite a lot of tanks, and I think this was a good kind of representation of the fact there was an awful lot of tanking going on in this game at the start of the year. It was because it went from, tanks went from being kind of special snowflakes to being very accessible standard fits, cheaper than a suit in some cases. So it made a lot of sense to actually run tanks, and I think we certainly had our fun with them. We did a number of tank montages. And I think generally we just found tanking to be a very nice addition to this game. It's what a lot of other games never had and never probably will. Like Destiny does not do vehicles very well at all. And I think Dust really did do vehicles very well. I think it's also quite kind of telling as well that you kind of find yourself in this game, fearing vehicles, but also being able to kill them quite easily. So it's a very ironic, I guess, juxtaposition of tactics, because you can end up being completely stomped by a dropship and then kill it incredibly easily as well. So it's kind of odd. It's a bit similar to rock, paper, scissors, if you know that whole concept. You've got to bring the right fit to the right scenario, and you'll actually do quite well. If you bring the wrong fit, you'll get stomped. But anyway, it's been a funny time in Dust. I got to admit, up to a month ago, I was pretty much calling that this game would be switched off within the next few months, because I thought that it just doesn't look like they're doing anything with it. However, from the latest dev blog we've seen, they're actually going to do another patch. They're going to do more content. They're going to include stuff that they kind of said that they never would for this, like the NPC market. Kind of. You're going to have the ability to buy loot, or sell loot rather, which is kind of surprising. I suspect this is because much of it is being developed for Legion, and they're seeing opportunity to draw it across. Again, it is a shame that Legion still isn't green lit. I suspect that obviously, it's there. I suspect there's obviously a playable game very soon. And I suspect a beta very soon. I really do. I think the reality is that you can't have that many people and that much money spent without seeing return for that money. I honestly do believe that. And the CCP offices in China are filled with people. They must be doing something. And I think the reality is they're probably working on Legion. And Dust as well, actually, to be thinking about that. They're probably working on Dust as well. But either way, I think there is still a hell of a lot of life left in this game. And I think a lot of people have dismissed it. I mean, a lot of people cashed in their PS3s for PS4s to go buy Destiny. Fair enough. That means you'll never play this game again. And that makes me sad. A tear wells in my eye with thinking about that. Quite honestly, no troll. Because I think there is nothing worse than that kind of technological barrier. If you just don't want to play the game, then that's fair enough. But if you actually do and you can't because you don't have a PS3, then that sucks, bro. That really does suck. So we go, in the corner we have episode 3.30, another flipping tank. I promised I chose them at random. I did it on purpose. I didn't want to dirty and sully my choices. I just thought, well, let's look at what we did in that year. And I think it's kind of interesting because I think there has been an awful lot of activity from a tactical point of view. We've changed our fitting numerous times. I started the year never even thinking I'd use plasma cannon ever, and lo and behold, I'm using it. And I can kind of give you a sneak peek for Series 4. We're not even using the scout suit anymore. Ooh, I hear you cry. What are you using, Pyrex? Well, you'll have to wait, because it's going to be a secret. I found a new suit. It's bloody good. It's fun. I love it. And I can't die in it. I am immortal. Finally, I am immortal because, YOLO. I don't really know why it's taken me so long to figure these kind of things out. But anyway. So in the screen you can see there, Tasfa did not want to lose his dropship, so we have to come and defend his dropship. Now there you go, nice little idea of kind of emergent tactical changes. So all of a sudden our squad goes to defend that dropship, and you know, this game still has legs on it. I guess is what I'm saying, because I think the reality is there's an awful lot of, I guess, clever ideas still here. Like the ability to, as I've said in the previous video, the ability to fit suits in an incredibly different way to a very similar suit or even the same suit. But I think it also comes through to, you know, the game still plays quite well. I know that's going to get trolled a little bit, but I still get an incredible enjoyment from this game because it does run quite nicely. You know, I think there is a very enjoyable aspect to this game that does make it quite fun. I can't describe too much of it because the reality is that you can never really put your finger on what it is that just makes something good to you, because there's been lots of people who played this game and hated it, and it could be because they have a bad time when they first play it. It could be that they don't get involved with a corp. I suspect that's always been the problem with Eve, is that Eve has a lot of throughput. You know, this game must have a lot of throughput as well because it's free. So people download it, they load it up, they try it, they leave. And the reason they're leaving is probably because there's nothing here to engage them beyond what is, I think, quite a good shooter, but not a groundbreaking shooter. So I think a lot of people miss that kind of corporation and friend aspect of it. I don't like playing Dust solo. I generally like to play with the bros, the legion of damned dark stars, but I generally find that, you know, you have to have a group of players in it that gives you that, you know, whatever it is you need support wise. And I think if you don't have that, this game's it's tricky. I think if you play this game solo, I'm quite impressed, because this is not an easy game to play solo. It really isn't. But I think generally, you know, the reality is that that's probably true of most games. I think that games like Destiny are probably almost impossible to play solo and get a great deal from. You should generally look to play them as a social experience, and that's really what MMOs are about. You're not really meant to play MMOs solo, which is weird because I played DayZ, which it's not really an MMO, but I played DayZ on my own for about 8 months, and I just hid in the bracken and the bush avoiding people. But with things like Eve and that, I even played Eve slightly alone for a while, and I've got to admit, you know, the game came alive when I joined an alliance and a corporation, because that's really when the social aspect comes in. Anyway, we won't wax lyrical on that. That could be something we look at in the future. There's still an awful lot of people playing this game, and I think that I know a lot of people again will troll that, but it's pretty evident there is still a lot of people. I still debate if Eve Offline is actually accurate, but even then it does still feel that there's a lot of familiar names and also unknown names coming through as well. And I think, yeah, I can't really consign this game to, you know, a watery grave just yet, because in my mind, because the reality is that every time I log in, every time I run around with a plasma cannon, a flaylock, or whatever it is, I just have such fun. And I think it's like Doom. This game is becoming like a version of Doom to me, and I think that has longevity in it, because a good shooter that has good gun game mechanics and feels good to you is worth its weight in gold nowadays, because there's an awful lot of games out there that are filled with great ideas, filled with fun ideas and clever ideas, but there's nothing really kind of there. It's not got that kind of smooth feeling to it in terms of, I don't know, enjoyment and all that. Like Battlefield 4 was a great example of this. On paper, that should have worked like crazy because it was such a clever, well-designed, you know, well-thought-out game. But I think the reality of it is that actually after you play it for a while, there's nothing really that special there. And it's difficult to kind of put your finger on it. It's a completely kind of almost je ne sais quoi moment, because it's like, when I play this game, it is that kind of ability to run fast, but also then have a very tanked kind of approach to a game. So you can run Logi and Chain and all that. You can play tanks, you can play dropship. It's almost as if there are so many different fits on this Swiss Army knife for Dust, that if you are a true master of the universe and you play all roles, there is a huge amount here for you. What I suspect happens is people will master a single suit and gun, or a single fit even to that point, and that's it, that's all they do. And I think then once they've mastered it, they kind of walk away from the game, because it's like, well, I've done this now. And I think that's kind of telling to me, because I think the reality of this game is it's designed to be, I guess, used across the board. Does that make sense? Anyway, post in the comments, tell me what you think. I've got to admit, I must love this game because we do so many videos for it. We got asked to do the Dust keynotes. Yes, I keep hammering on about that because that was my finest work to date. But wait until you see the introduction video to Series 4. I am proud of that, my God. It is one massive troll because, come on, you know, who am I? What am I going to do, you know? But I think there is something quite cool about it. And I think we're going to try and get away slightly from the... I think the having a go at CCP route all the time, because we've kind of been there. Don't worry, we're still going to hold them to account and we'll burn their fingers whenever they do something stupid. But I think the reality is that they're doing an okay job. And Dust, when you look at where it was when it was in Chromosome to where it is today, it still is a great game. It doesn't feel the same as Chromosome, but it's just a different one. But I would say when you look at the depth, when you look at the fun, when you look at the the engagement there is certainly in the game, there is quite a lot there to enjoy. So here we go, that's episode 390. We did so many videos of this, and I think one day we should probably just compile them into, I don't know, something like a collector's DVD or something, because it does, we'd never get approval to do that, but hey, we can dream, and I think it would be cool to do that kind of thing. But I think at the moment, you know, we're kind of interested in just seeing where we go with this. You know, we started the channel to have a bit of fun. I've always enjoyed doing videos, and I think really the reality of games like this is they are remarkably easy to do videos for. When I think about all the DayZ that I've been playing lately and how difficult they are to edit into something coherent, succinct and enjoyable, it's hard. Whereas in this, you're instantly into the game and you're instantly into the fun. This is something I really hope Legion has taken into account, is that I don't think there's quite a lot of people out there who play Dust currently who want to sit, you know, quote, on a gate waiting for a noob to come along. So in Legion, it could be waiting on a planet cloaked for somebody to come along and loot something like PvE, and then you kill them for their loot. I honestly don't think there's going to be many people who play Dust who have the patience to do that in Legion. So already I think you're starting to see a differing of game designs. This is very likely why they're moving it to the PC. It's very likely why they're moving it to a more DayZ style model. And DayZ is a very, very slow game compared to Dust. Dust to me is like Counter-Strike. It's the epitome of Counter-Strike in the future, because it's round based. You load up a game, you have fun, you go and kill stuff, and then you die, and you kill stuff and you die, then match done. How many kills did you get? Nice one, bro. And that's it. That's all this game does, and that's why it is lasting, in my opinion. Things like DayZ are good, but you'll find a massive transitory kind of population of people who'll play that game, because it really isn't actually that enjoyable to play. You get like 5 minutes enjoyment every hour, whereas in this game you're getting, you know, 5 minutes enjoyment every 7 minutes or 10 minutes, because you're having the fun of the game and whatever. So I think this is, yeah, these are kind of interesting foibles that we will discuss, I think, in Series 4. But I really do, you know, honestly think that Legion is not going to be Dust. It's going to be the IP of Dust in a very different party hat, and that party hat is totally different to what Dust players maybe are comfortable, happy, and familiar with. Yeah. So you call in a tank to snipe, or you snipe, and you sit there. You could be sat there for 2 or 3 hours waiting for a single target to come along, unless you go into the PvE, PvP, whatever arenas like in Destiny. But then they'll have a hollow feeling to them because they're on PC, and PC gaming with this kind of game is very hollow. Do you know what I mean? You'll see what I mean. We'll go through it. But I think there we go. That's it. Series 3 is now completely and utterly done. No more bollocks. The next time you see my my Dust videos, it will be Series 4. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you in Series 4.